11. Today, an extraordinary apology to victims' families from the man who used to be in charge of fighting terrorism.
We tried hard, but that doesn't matter because we failed.
Meanwhile, the war of words from the White House against their former counterterrorism chief escalates. Before the Supreme Court, should the words "under God" be excluded from the Pledge of Allegiance? Kobe Bryant's lawyers question his accuser. Should her sexual history be admissible in court? And from Iraq to the unemployment line, a National Guardsman and the price of service.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings. Reporting tonight, Charles Gibson.
Good evening. It was the most anticipated moment of the hearings before the commission looking into the events leading up to 9/11. The appearance of Richard Clarke, the former top counterterrorism official in government, now a consultant to ABC News. Clarke has been sharply critical in interviews and a new book of the Bush administration's approach to terrorism. His opening statement stunned the hearing room. Instead of further criticism, he addressed the families of those who died that day.
Those entrusted with protecting you failed you, and I failed you. And for that failure, I would ask, once all the facts are out, for your understanding and for your forgiveness.
The simplicity of his statement belied the ferocity of the fight the White House is waging to discredit Richard Clarke. Here's ABC's Terry Moran at the White House.
Thank you very much, sir.
Richard Clarke praised President Clinton's effort to fight terrorism, but he leveled a damning indictment against President Bush.
How high a priority was fighting al-Qaeda in the Bush administration?
I believe the Bush administration in the first 8 months considered terrorism an important issue, but not an urgent issue.
Even before Clarke began testifying, White House officials launched a ferocious counterattack, taking the extraordinary step of allowing Fox News to unmask Clarke as the official who provided a background briefing for reporters in August 2002, when the counterterrorism chief sang a very different tune. In that briefing, Clarke said President Bush changed the strategy from one of rollback with al-Qaeda over the course of 5 years, which it had been, to a new strategy that called for the rapid elimination of al-Qaeda. White House officials immediately seized on Clarke's briefing.
And Dick Clarke, in his own words, provides a point-by-point rebuttal of what he now asserts. This shatters the cornerstone of Mr. Clarke's assertions.
At the hearing, Clarke was promptly confronted with his past statements.
Mr. Clarke, as we sit here this afternoon, we have your book. Oh my God. And we have your press briefing of August 2002. Which is true?
Well, I think the question is a little misleading. I was asked to highlight the positive aspects of what the administration had done and to minimize the negative aspects of what the administration had done.
Several commission members pointed out that Clarke had never expressed his criticisms to them in 14 hours of private testimony.
You've got a real credibility problem.
Clarke's explanation, he says he was never asked what he sees as the critical question, Iraq.
By invading Iraq, the President of the United States has greatly undermined the war on terrorism.
Clarke's former boss said he has lost respect for a man he has known for more than a decade.
I think he's taken an opportunity to sell a book and take advantage of the publicity that comes with a 9/11 Commission hearing and in the heightened political season. And I'm disappointed in Dick Clarke.
But at the end of the day, Clarke was still firing away at the president.
I think the truth hurts. And the White House, I think, believes that the American people won't like the facts once they see them.
But here's another fact. Late today, National Security Advisor Condoleezza Rice released this email that Clarke sent her 4 days after 9/11. In it, Clarke predicts questions will be raised about whether the Bush administration did all it could to stop the attacks. And he says, quote, the White House did ensure that domestic law enforcement, including the FAA, knew that we believed a major al-Qaeda attack was coming and it could be in the U.S., and it did ask that special measures be taken. Charlie, this is not over.
All right, Terry Moran at the White House, thanks. But the overall purpose of these hearings going on in Washington is obviously about a lot more than the charges and countercharges flying between Clark and the Bush administration. The 9/11 Commission is charged with finding the missed signals before 9/11 and devising recommendations to prevent future attacks. On those questions, the witnesses have not been reassuring, starting with Richard Clark, but including others as well. Here's ABC's Pierre Thomas.
The former White House counterterrorism chief launched an indictment of the Clinton and Bush administration's response to terror.
Unfortunately, this country takes body bags. It requires body bags sometimes to make really tough decisions.
According to a commission report, 1 week before 9/11, Clark wrote a memo urging members of the Bush administration to imagine a day after a terrorist attack, with hundreds of Americans dead at home and abroad, and ask themselves what they could have done earlier. The lack of urgency, Clark testified, came even as intelligence about a major al-Qaeda attack was surging in the summer of 2001. The evidence pointed mostly overseas, but Clark said he's still worried about sleeper cells in the U.S. and said he had little confidence in the FBI's ability to find out who they were.
I didn't think the FBI would know whether or not there was anything going on in the United States by al-Qaeda.
Clark wasn't the only one at the hearing accusing the FBI of being ineffective. President Clinton's national security advisor was even more blunt.
We've learned since 9/11 that not only did we not know what we didn't know, but the FBI didn't know what it did know.
Today, commissioners pointedly asked the CIA director why, if there was so much intelligence warning of an impending attack, didn't the government take more aggressive steps at home?
There was this really sleepy response, I have to say, from the FAA, a couple of, in my view, feckless advisories, and the Secretary of Transportation told us he didn't even know about the threats.
The country was not systemically protected because even in racing through all these threats, sometimes exhaustively, we exhausted ourselves. There was not a system in place to say, you got to go back and do this and this and this and this.
The nation's top intelligence officer admitted failure.
It's easy to go talk about what I didn't get them to do on day 1, day 2, or day 3. It almost is the wrong way to talk about this from a historical perspective, with a lot of experience, with a lot of mistakes we made and everybody else made. No perfection in this deal. We didn't stop this attack.
The primary responsibility of government is to protect and secure the people. The question that keeps coming back to me, and the question I think this commission has to answer, is why we were unable to do it.
The commission is expected to hold 3 more hearings and issue its final report by August. Pierre Thomas, ABC News, Washington.
Meanwhile, there was another scare on a European railway line today. This time it was in France. A rail worker found a bomb half buried below a train track southeast of Paris. Bomb experts defused it. Security was increased on France's public transport systems earlier this month after the bombing of 4 commuter trains in Madrid. And in Madrid today, there was a huge memorial service for the victims of those train bombings. 190 people died. The Secretary of State, Colin Powell, joined members of the Spanish royal family and world leaders for the memorial mass. Even Prince Charles was there. 2 more people were charged today for their role in those attacks in Spain, bringing the total now to 11. We turn next to the Middle East and the high state of alert in Israel, where they are anticipating retaliation for the assassination of the Hamas leader, Sheikh Yassin. The new Hamas leader has vowed an even stronger version of what he called the resistance against Israel. ABC's Jim Sciutto has been to Gaza to meet him.
The new Hamas leader is already a marked man, but he appeared in public today. He talked on his cell phone, though his calls are almost certainly monitored. Do you believe that you're Israel's next target now?
I prefer that the end of my life to be by Apache missiles, not by cardiac arrest.
Israel has targeted Dr. Abdelaziz Rantisi before, nearly killing him in an airstrike last June. Even within Hamas, he's considered a hardliner, urging an acceleration of suicide attacks. Though today, in an interview with ABC News, he stepped back from suggestions that Hamas will attack Americans.
We will not target any American target, and we will continue our resistance just inside our country, Palestine.
The resistance is taking on a very young face. Today, a 16-year-old boy wearing a belt loaded with explosives was stopped at an Israeli checkpoint, forced to strip at a safe distance from soldiers. Last week, police caught an 11-year-old boy with a bomb in his backpack. He says someone planted it there. Hamas leaders, including Dr. Rintisi, a pediatrician and father of 6, have approved of attacks by children as young as 16.
Is the best hope, in your view, for the Palestinian people a violent response, a continuation of the Intifada?
Palestinian people gave a chance for negotiation since 1991 up till now, without any hope.
Violence, he said, is their best option, a message that resounded across Gaza tonight. Jim Sciutto, ABC News, Gaza City.
And when we come back, a closer look at the passionate debate in the Supreme Court about the Pledge of Allegiance. Kobe Bryant was in court today. Tonight, the impact his case is having on other women who say they have been raped. And from a tour of duty to a tour on the unemployment line, the National Guardsman coming home from Iraq.
This is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings. Brought to you by Splenda, no-calorie sweetener.
What are little girls made of? Splenda and spice, and everything nice.
Little girls and boys are very sweet when they get the sweet things they love. And now soft drinks and ice cream, juices and cookies, and lots of treats are being made with Splenda, the no-calorie sweetener made from sugar, so it tastes like sugar. Splenda is making life a little sweeter for everyone.
Every coach knows the ability to stay in a game is what counts. So if you want to stay in a game, don't let anything hold you back. Take action to stay in a game. Ask about Levitra.
Ask your doctor if a free trial is right for you. Levitra, stay in the game.
Do what I did. Ask your doctor about Levitra. Levitra works for me. See if it'll work for you.
Do you ever lie about your age?
No, I'm only 28. Fool even your toughest critics. Olay Total Effects 7X fights 7 signs of aging. It also moisturizes better than these major department store brands. Olay Total Effects 7X.
It's different for people with acid reflux disease because you know the heartburn's gonna nail you. And over time, all that acid could rip at your esophagus. Next time, Nexium, the healing purple pill. For many, one prescription Nexium daily not only gets rid of heartburn, more importantly, it also heals acid reflux erosions. And healing is such a great feeling. Other serious stomach conditions may still exist. Talk to your doctor. The most common side effects of Nexium are headache, diarrhea, and abdominal pain. Don't let acid reflux eat at you. Next time, ask your doctor about Nexium.
I'll take that.
Because healing is such a great feeling.
We're going to take a closer look tonight at a few words in the Pledge of Allegiance. One nation under God. The key question, do the words under God violate separation between church and state? A federal appellate court last year said they do. The case went to the U.S. Supreme Court today for argument. First, ABC's Manny Medrano is at the court.
Okay. Outside the Supreme Court, passions on both sides.
It is not a Christian theocracy. It is a free country.
All right, so we're free to pray.
So why not?
Michael Newdow, an atheist and arguing his own case, said including the words under God in the Pledge of Allegiance means that his 9-year-old daughter is being coerced. It's indoctrinating the children. Newdow said the words make the pledge religious. To say this is not religious seems to me somewhat bizarre. The court seems skeptical. Justice Breyer. The pledge has a long history of being evoked for civic purposes. Justice O'Connor. Reasonable people could look at the pledge as not constituting a prayer. Justice Ginsburg added the pledge was not exactly like a hymn you'd sing in church. In 1954, at the height of the Cold War, Congress voted to insert the words "under God" as a rebuke to communism. Newdow called that divisive. Chief Justice Rehnquist noted the vote was unanimous. That doesn't sound divisive. Newdow responded, only because no atheist could get elected to public office. That elicited applause, seldom heard in the High Court, from Newdow supporters, leading Rehnquist to threaten to clear the courtroom if it happened again. After oral arguments, Newdow insisted that he knows what's best for his daughter.
I am a parent. I have an absolute right to know that when my child goes to the public schools, she's not going to be indoctrinated with any religious dogma.
The child's mother, a devout Christian who supports the pledge, disagreed.
We should be proud of our heritage and proud of our history and not succumb to popular culture.
Attorneys for the school district defended the pledge, noting that participation is voluntary.
It's not an endorsement of religion. It's not favoring one religion over another or religion over non-religion.
All this may be moot if the court decides that Newdow lacks the legal authority to sue the school district on behalf of his daughter. That's because he's locked in a custody battle with the child's mother. But given the tone of the questions today, that seems unlikely. So sometime this spring, the High Court will decide whether or not the words "under God" in the pledge are unconstitutional. Manny Medrano, ABC News, the Supreme Court.
There is not much question where the public stands on this issue. A new poll found that 87% of Americans want to keep the pledge as it is. It's estimated that about 60 million school children recite the pledge every day in the United States. What do some of them think about the controversy? Here's ABC's Dean Reynolds.
It has been a classroom habit for half a century.
One nation, under God, indivisible.
The pledge with the words "under God," what President Eisenhower called a reaffirmation of the transcendence of religious faith in America's heritage and future. Language that has retained overwhelming popularity to this day.
I have no problem whatsoever with that phrase being in our Pledge of Allegiance.
I think it should stay in the Pledge of Allegiance. I think it's part of it.
But for the tiny minority who disagree with that view, "under God" is over the line.
It makes it a religious statement in a public school, and it doesn't belong there.
Well, I don't think God has to be mentioned in the schools.
At the Franklin Public School in Chicago, the 8th graders have been reciting it ever since kindergarten.
You think about the words?
Not that much.
So it's just something you memorized?
Yeah.
We're not actually pledging ourselves to God, but we're doing it more so to our country.
However fraught with significance the words may have seemed in Washington today, in this classroom, the debate is a distraction. It's okay if you want to use the words, and it's okay if you don't.
It's been 50 years, and, nobody in those 50 years brought it up, and now they're just making a big issue out of it.
These students say they spend much more time thinking about things like the war in Iraq than the Pledge of Allegiance.
It's kind of a pointless issue to be fighting about.
It's just one more thing that is taking away from all the more important issues in our country.
More important than two little words. Dean Reynolds, ABC News, Chicago.
And when we return, Kobe Bryant and his accuser in court today. A controversy over his lawyers asking about her sexual past.
This is Alan. He has cancer. This is Sarah. They've been together 46 years.
Way to go, sweetheart. Now go get it.
This is the number they called when he was diagnosed, so they could get answers to their questions.
Kiss that ball.
So they could get through this together. This is the American Cancer Society. This is who to call for help.
I love you.
In the future, everyone's glasses will automatically adjust to changing light and block out harmful UV rays that can damage the eyes. But for those with transitions lenses, the future is already here. Ask your eye care professional, because the danger is real now, and so is the protection. Transitions, right in any light.
Oh, hey, hi, I'm Digger. Don't mind me, I'm just a dermatophyte. You know, a nail infection. All I want is to get in here and live under your nail. You can't get me with clippers or those surface treatments you try on your own. I'm in too deep in your nail bed. I'll make myself comfortable, invite a few friends. Settle in.
Do you have thick, discolored, or flaky nails? Millions of people do. It may be caused by an active live infection. That's why you should ask your doctor about prescription-only Lamisil. Unlike surface treatments, Lamisil is a pill that works through the bloodstream to target and attack the infection at its source, underneath the nail. In fact, you can start to see clearer, healthier nails in just 3 months. Lamisil isn't for people with liver or kidney problems. In rare cases, serious side effects in the liver or serious skin reactions have occurred, so your doctor may do a simple blood test. Other side effects, including headache, diarrhea, indigestion, and rash, were generally mild. Ask your doctor about Lamisil. Once daily Lamisil tablets. Get your nail infection where it grows.
Out here, the sun doesn't just set, it simmers. The trees are taller than buildings, and dreams are just a short step from reality. This is California, the Golden State. And the memories are here just waiting for you to find them. There are over 4 million miles of roads in Alamo Country, and with values like this, they're easy to explore. Alamo, the official rental car of the American vacation.
Tomorrow, as the Olympics return to their native land, will these historic games be threatened by terror? What's at stake in Athens? The fears and the dangers on World News Tonight.
In Colorado today, the basketball star Kobe Bryant faced the woman who has accused him of rape, faced her for the first time. She testified today in a closed-door hearing about her sexual activity before and after her encounter with Bryant. The judge is going to determine whether it is admissible as evidence. It's a very controversial aspect of the case. ABC's Bill Redeker has a report.
When Kobe Bryant arrived at court today for the closed-door hearing, it was the first time he had seen his accuser since their encounter last summer at the Cordillera Resort.
She seems to be avoiding any eye contact with anyone, the media, Kobe Bryant, anyone. She is looking straight ahead and going in with a pretty intent look on her face.
In a private hearing, defense attorneys were allowed to question the 19-year-old woman about her sexual history.
Colorado's rape shield law, like others around the country, bars defense attorneys from questioning alleged rape victims about their sex life. But there is a loophole if a judge decides that this line of questioning may be relevant.
Bryant's attorneys say her sexual history is relevant because it may show the source of her injury could be someone other than Bryant.
The defense is trying to show that it was not Kobe Bryant that caused the injuries, that it was somebody else.
Former prosecutor and Judge Leslie Crocker Schneider is worried that what's happening in Colorado could erode the effectiveness of the law elsewhere.
To allow the kind of scope which is being allowed here, both in terms of the victim and all these other people, is basically, to me, incomprehensible and violates every purpose of every rape shield law.
In fact, rape counselors say the Bryant case is already having an effect on other victims considering pressing charges.
I just recently talked to one of the victims that I help, and she said that she is not going to go forward with her case against an athlete because of how Kobe Bryant's victim has been treated.
The prosecution says Kobe Bryant's accuser is being re-victimized. The judge will eventually decide if any of today's testimony will be heard by jurors at trial. Bill Redeker, ABC News, Eagle, Colorado.
And when we return, back from Iraq and suddenly out of a job, the harsh homecoming for some National Guardsmen.
Millions of us are hospitalized with heart-related chest pain or a certain type of heart attack, what doctors call ACS. The cause? For most, it was blood platelets that formed clots which blocked blood from getting to the heart. Think aspirin and your other heart medications alone are enough? One more thing could help make a difference. Ask your doctor about adding Plavix. Added to aspirin and your current treatment, Plavix goes beyond what you're taking to help raise protection against heart attack or stroke. Plavix and your other medications work in different ways. Plavix, taken with aspirin, plays its own role in keeping blood platelets from sticking together and forming clots, which helps keep blood flowing.
If you have a medical condition that causes bleeding, such as a stomach ulcer, you shouldn't use Plavix. The risk of bleeding may increase with Plavix, and when you take Plavix with certain other medications, including aspirin, review your medicines with your doctor to minimize this risk. Additional rare but serious side effects could occur.
Add Plavix for more protection against heart attack or stroke.
You gelling?
I'm taking a shelling, but I'm still gelling.
My trades are smelling.
Mine too, but who cares?
We're gelling.
Dr. Scholl's massaging gel insoles are so soft, they make your feet feel outrageously comfortable. Are you gelling? Dr. Scholl's.
So how is Medicare changing? It's the same Medicare you've always counted on, plus more benefits, like prescription drug coverage.
Can I keep my Medicare just how it is?
Yes, you can always keep your same Medicare coverage.
Will I save on my medicines?
You can save with Medicare drug discount cards this June and save more with prescription drug coverage in 2006.
So, my Medicare isn't different, it's just more.
Right. And you can learn more. Call 1-800-MEDICARE.
It's termite season. Terminix them with our exclusive problem-solved guarantee. 1-800-TERMINIX. It's termite swarm season. Terminix them with our exclusive problem-solved guarantee. 1-800-TERMINIX.
Cold pills. Could any of them start to work faster than Vapor Rub's cooling vapors? So you feel like you're breathing again? We don't think so.
I'm Steve Dunn. Next to Northwest Only All Local Newscast here. A cruel hoax in the case of missing teen Cynthia Lamb when a 14-year-old boy told police it landed him under arrest. And the family of Sierra Maldonado talks about her death, what her father is hoping for now. Those stories plus all the local news of the day coming up next.
Next Wednesday, Janet Jackson in a live concert event. Her first performance is the Super Bowl. Next Wednesday, only on Good Morning America.
Finally this evening, soldiers coming home from Iraq, not to a hero's welcome, but to hours on the unemployment line. Many National Guardsmen who served in the war are finding the jobs they held when they left are no longer theirs when they return. Here's ABC's Neil Karlinski.
For some National Guard troops returning from Iraq, homecoming celebrations have been cut short by a new and unexpected battle.
To make ends meet is very hard. I'm drawing unemployment, which I've never been on unemployment before. I've never drawn unemployment before.
34-year-old Dana Bodine says he came home from war in Iraq only to be let go from his old job, a job he was promised would be waiting for him. He was wounded by an enemy mortar and has been diagnosed with post-traumatic stress. The Army has certified him fit for his security job at the Seattle office building, but his employer is not convinced.
I'm appalled, very disappointed that this has happened.
Federal law prohibits employers from firing people who take time off to serve in the armed forces. It further states that citizen soldiers are entitled to all pay raises and promotions as if they've never left. Since 9/11, roughly 3,000 reserve soldiers have filed job-related complaints with the Department of Labor. The government released this public service announcement to remind employers of their obligation.
They did their job. Now let's do ours.
Any complaint by a reservist or a guardman is of serious concern to us, and we promptly investigate that complaint.
With the military stretched thin and forced to rely heavily on reservists, the government says more citizen soldiers may be facing unemployment when they come home. Dana Bodine, a father of 3, has now been fighting to get his job back longer than he fought in Iraq. Neil Karlinski, ABC News, Seattle.
And that is our report on World News Tonight. I'm Charles Gibson. For all of us at ABC News, good night.
Tonight at 10/9 Central.
Help me.
Check into the kingdom
There's something wrong in that room.
where doctors' mistakes haunt the halls.
I'm waiting for you.
And all new Stephen King's Kingdom Hospital, ABC tonight, 10/9 Central.
Now, on K2 News at 6:30, police get a false lead in the case of missing teenager Cynthia Lamb. A 14-year-old boy tells a lie that puts him under arrest. Plus, a Washington County deputy makes a last-minute decision that saves the life of a young boy holding a toy gun. And Police hit a roadblock in Portland's dog poisonings case. Tonight, the city's top cop finally talks about it.
Live from K2, the Northwest only all-local 6:30 newscast with Steve Dunn, Paul Lindman, and exclusive microcast weather with Rod Hill. K2 and you, the spirit of the Northwest.
Good evening. Glad you're with us, everybody. I'm Steve Dunn.
And I'm Deborah Knapp, in for Paul Lindman. Tonight, a Washington County deputy is speaking out about a life-and-death decision he had to make in a split second.
It happened when a 12-year-old boy pulled out what at first looked like a handgun.
As K2's Bob High reports, it turned out to be something a lot less dangerous.
In the light of day, laid on a table, it's clear this is probably not a real gun. But watch this.
I'm screaming. It happened so quickly. It's kind of like this.
That's
Lowest priced minivan.